We're going to be creating a cause and effect machine using gears, levers, and ramps today, and I'm going to show you how to create the gears using graphic symbols. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Adobe Animate, and I'm going to do File, New, Full HD, HTML5 Canvas. I'm going to hit Create. Okay, let me just reduce this to about 50% so I can see the stage better. Actually, I'm going to probably reduce it to 40%. Okay, now I can see the stage. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do Insert New Symbol, and the default is going to probably be a movie clip symbol, but you want a graphic symbol. I'm going to call this symbol Gear 1. And I'm going to hit OK. So now I'm inside Gear 1. I'm going to change my fill color to something a little darker. I think I'm going to pick like a dark pink. I'm going to take my shape tool. I'm going to hold my Option and Shift key and make a circle. And then I'm going to change colors and make a different colored circle in the middle. Again, Option and Shift key. And now I'm going to take that different colored circle. I'm going to select it with my selection tool, and I'm going to just hit the backspace key to delete it. So now I've got this round disc. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my line tool, and I'm going to go to the properties menu, and I'm going to make sure my stroke size is about, I would say like 40. And I want my stroke color to be the same color as this wheel. So I'm going to hit where it says stroke, and then I'm going to just click on the wheel and it will be the same color. Now I'm going to make some lines. Just a little short one at the top, a little short one at the bottom, a little short one at the left, a little short one at the right, and then a few in between. So it looks like a gear. Now at this point, it's made of all different shapes. It's got, if you were to select, you could isolate the different shapes. I don't want that. I want everything to be one shape. So I'm going to take my cursor and drag it over everything, and then I'm going to do modify, and then I'm going to do combine objects union, and now it's one shape. Now what I'm going to do with this shape is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to copy and paste the frame into the second frame in the timeline, and then rotate the wheel just a little bit, and then copy that, paste it, and then rotate it again until I have enough frames that it's made a full revolution. You could go all the way around. So however many teeth are on the gear, we're going to move it double that. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go down here, I'm going to copy my frame, I'm going to paste it, and I'm actually going to go to the second frame, and I'm going to turn on the onion skinning, and I'm going to go to the free transform tool, and I'm going to move it halfway to the next gear. Okay? Onion skinning makes the frames transparent so you can see what came before and what came after. So now I'm going to copy this frame, paste it, and I'm going to go to the last frame and move it so it's even with the next gear. And I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste, and then I'm going to go to the last frame. You have to slide it down to the last frame and go halfway to the next gear. So you're going to continue rotating it in half stops until you get one complete revolution. Copy, paste, a half a stop. Copy, paste, slide it down, and then go half a stop. Copy, paste, go to the last gear, and go half a stop. So each time you're going half a stop. Because the process is repetitive, I'm going to speed that part up here and skip over a little bit of it. But you get the general idea. I keep going until I have made one full revolution. So I think this is correct, but let me turn off the onion skinning and look at it. All right, does the last one match the first one? Pretty close. I think it looks all right. I'm going to play it just to make sure. Now, one of the things you're going to notice is it spins, but it spins way too fast. So we're going to go to the Properties menu, and we're going to change it from 24 frames to 8 frames per second, or even 6 frames per second. Let's see if that looks better. All right. Now it looks more like a spinning gear. All right, now I'm going to take all these frames and I'm going to click on them and just drag along while holding the Command key. And that's going to select all these frames. I'm going to copy them. I'm going to paste them. So I've got about between 65 and 70 frames. I'm in this graphic symbol called Gear 1. I'm going to take all these frames and I'm going to grab them. I'm going to hold down the Command key and I'm going to slide this along and I'm going to copy them again. I'm going to go back to scene 1. I'm going to do Insert, New Symbol, and I'm going to call this Gear 2. Okay? And now I'm in Gear 2. I'm going to go down to the timeline. I'm going to paste the frames in here, and I'm going to go from the first one to the last one. I'm going to just select all the frames while holding down the Command key. So slide it along so that they're all highlighted in blue. Right click, and I'm going to reverse the frames. So now I've got a gear that goes to the right and a gear that goes to the left. All right, now I'm going to go back to scene 1. I'm going to go to the library and I'm going to grab gear 1 and I'm going to bring it in here. I'm going to right click, create motion tween. And I'm going to look at this gear. All right, so this is gear 1. So let me go back to scene 1 and I'm going to, gear 1 is spinning to the right, so I'm going to lock this layer and I'm going to add a new layer, and in the new layer I'm going to grab gear 2, close it up. I'm going to take gear 2 and gear 2 goes in the opposite direction. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to right click, create motion tween, and then lock this layer. I'm going to add a new layer, and in this new layer I'm going to grab gear 1. Right click, create motion tween. And you can see how the gears move together. Each gear next to each other has to move in the opposite direction, because as one gear pushes down on another gear, now I have these gears, and now I'm going to lock this layer, and I'm going to add in a ramp. So I'm adding in parts to the obstacle course. Okay, I'm going to change this to having no fill color, and I'll change it to a blue. I'm going to go up here to the rectangle tool, in this new layer. Let me lock this layer. Sorry, I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm going to add a rectangle, and I'm going to use the cursor, and I'm going to push it in to make a ramp. Okay, and the other thing that I might want to add is I think I might want to add in a lever. So I'm going to lock this layer. I'm going to unlock it, create motion tween, lock this layer, and I'm going to add in a new layer. And in this new layer, I'm going to add another rectangle, and this rectangle is going to be a lever. So I'm going to add it, I think, over here. And I'm going to right click, create motion tween. And now what I'm going to do is at 2 seconds, it's going to be down like this. At 4 seconds, it's going to be up like this. At 6 seconds, it's going to be down like this again. At 8 seconds, it's going to be up like this again. And at 10 seconds, it will be down like this again. So now what I've done is I've created an obstacle course. So I haven't introduced any balls to this obstacle course yet. Let me just lock this. Don't introduce any balls yet, because if you do, it will confuse you. I'm going to now add another layer, and this other layer is going to have another lever over here. Okay. Right click, create motion tween. Okay. And Okay, so I have created a cause and effect machine, like a pinball machine, but there's no pinballs in it yet. Okay, so now at this point, the fun may begin. I'm going to reduce this to 25% so I can see everything. Bring it up here, and I'm going to go to the very beginningest beginning, and I'm going to add another layer right at the top. I'm going to change the color, something nice and bright, and I'm going to hold the Option and Shift key, and I'm going to go to the oval tool, and I'm going to create a little ball. Okay, so now I'm going to right click, create motion tween. I'm going to now have the ball falling. I sped up this next part because it gets a little complicated and it was very time consuming, just trying to figure out how all these little round gumballs are falling through the machine. The first one was fairly easy, but when I introduced a second one and then the balls had to interact with each other, it became fairly complicated. If I had to do it again, I would introduce all three balls at once so that when they got to that part in the motion path and they knocked into each other, they could interact and I could plan it out better. But you can see how I'm just fast forwarding through that motion. Now I'm exporting it. And you can see that I didn't do squash and stretch on two of the balls. So I'm going to have to show you how that looks after I did the squash and stretch. I slowed it down just to show you how each ball reacts with every surface that it touches, and how it squashes down when it hits a surface and then bounces back up. If I had to do it again, I would have added all three balls at once and planned out the movements a little more carefully, so I didn't have to backtrack and fix as much stuff. Here's how it looks at regular speed, and that's how you would create a simple cause and effect machine using levers, gears, and ramps.